would you be interested in funding and taking away taxpayer dollars to NPR and PBS?
Well, I would love to do that. I think it's very unfair. It's been very biased, the whole group. I mean, the whole group of them. And frankly, there's plenty of, look at all the media you have right now. There's plenty of coverage. I was from a different age, and they spend more money than any other network of its type ever conceived. So the kind of money that's being wasted, and it's a very biased view, you know that better than anybody. And
so I'd be honored. I'd be honored to do it, actually. And on Thursday, well, DJT signed an executive order that would direct the end of federal funding for NPR and the public broadcasting service PBS. The order cites concerns over journalistic bias and calls for public funding of these organizations outdated and incompatible with principles of neutrality in news reporting. The order cites that CPB's governing statute, which prohibits support for any political party, arguing that NPR and PBS violate the spirit, if not the letter, of this law. They talk about during the 2024 Republican National Convention, PBS had 72% negative coverage. During the Democrat National Convention, they had 88% positive coverage. This is not nonpartisan. This is demonstrably weighed. You see the thumb on the scale every single time. The statement also noted that over a 6-month period, PBS NewsHour reportedly used the term far right 162 times, but far left only 6 times. And then the White House put out a thread that highlighted all these ridiculous examples of PBS and NPR in their reporting. Did you know that NPR ran a story titled "Cannibalism? It's Perfectly Natural"? Yes, with your taxpayer dollars, they ran a story on NPR titled "Cannibalism? It's Perfectly Natural." Something I would not partake in. Would you partake in?
Absolutely not.
A placenta buffet?
No.
Even if it was prepared very well by a chef?
Well, you just said the husband was a good cook. I don't know if he was a chef.
Well, that's what they say.
It's NPR.
In 2021, NPR declared the Declaration of Independence to be a document with flaws and deeply ingrained hypocrisies. It's very bipartisan. And I quote, "The Declaration is a document with flaws and deeply ingrained hypocrisies. It also laid the foundation for our collective aspirations, our hopes for what America could be. So in that spirit, here again is the Declaration of Independence as read by NPR staff." In 2022, NPR scrapped its decades-long Independence Day tradition of reading the Declaration of Independence on air to instead discuss equality. So that's nice. NPR also subsequently issued an editor's note warning that the Declaration of Independence is a document that contains offensive language. NPR once also apologized for calling illegal immigrants illegal. And NPR also sounded the alarm about young men who abstain from masturbating to pornography. They really did this. They said they had a headline. It said, "Masturbation abstinence is popular online. Doctors and therapists are worried." This is where your taxpayer-funded dollars are going at NPR. NPR also featured a Valentine's Day article in 2024. You might have missed this one. I missed it, and I'm kind of grateful I did, where they had a Valentine's Day story, and it was all focused around queer animals. It's not a South Park episode. This isn't about Stan's dog. This is NPR. This is taxpayer-funded articles. In this article about queer animals for Valentine's Day, because what says Valentine's Day more than queer animals? That's NPR. Well, what about PBS? PBS devoted a whole panel to what it means to be woke and white privilege in 2017. In 2021, a PBS station aired a children's program that featured a drag queen named Little Hot Mess. Yep, that's PBS. That's PBS. Not much better. Not much better. Hold on. Let me. This is for the stream. There's a picture of Little Hot Mess that was featured in a children's show on PBS. In case you were wondering where your taxpayer dollars are going.
Oh, I thought it was going to be another Sesame Street character.
No. I think we've done the Sesame Street stuff to death.
Oh, 100%.
Where Elmo's wishing Happy Pride Day, or Elmo's talking about how necessary it is to get vaccinated, or, Arthur's talking about how evil cops are. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's where your taxpayer dollars go, though. This is fine. This is fine. Donald Trump is putting an end to all of this. Donald Trump said, enough is enough. Now, NPR once educated the nation on the whole community of genderqueer dinosaur enthusiasts and the always popular Triceratops. Did you know about the Triceratops? Here's a snippet from the article for the community of genderqueer dinosaur enthusiasts from it. Many people who are queer, whether they are trans or some other form of genderqueer or whatever it is, we love dinosaurs. Before I get to the answer, was there an issue that, like, if you were, what do they say, a member of the genderqueer community, that you weren't allowed to love dinosaurs? Was the cisgender dinosaur community being a little bit hard on you? So was there a reason for this whatsoever? No? Okay. Many people who are queer, whether they are trans or some other form of genderqueer or whatever it is, we love dinosaurs. The answer. Along with being a dinosaur expert, Riley herself is transgender. And according to Riley, there's a whole community of genderqueer dinosaur enthusiasts online. We had no idea. Stunning and brave, you may be thinking. Stunning and brave. I think that too. It's just, the dinosaur community is full of bigots. And thank you, NPR, for using taxpayer dollars to attack this head on. Type dinosaur into the LGBT subreddit. Hundreds of results with pride dinos, rainbow dinos, dinos moms, dino dads, and a lot of puns. Yep, a lot of puns. It's pretty gay. I'm not going to lie to you. The genderqueer dinosaur community, they know how to do puns. A PBS White House correspondent once characterized Trump's patriotic 2020 Mount Rushmore speech as a love letter to white resentment that promoted the myth of America. I'm not going to miss taxpayer funds going to this PBS reporter.
And to fly in the face of the experts and his own health officials, environmental experts, as well as people who are saying that there's really a myth of America, that this idea that America treated people well, that they treated men and women equally, that we founded this country just by our own wits. And the president and then candidate Trump started saying, "Make America Great Again." He's really fitting in this history that is in some ways Republican history, about the idea that they're really looking at white resentment and giving people who are worried about the future of America, but who are also angry at the idea of America browning, and giving them a place to say, you know what, you are the victim. This country owes you more. Instead of looking toward the future and saying, actually, let's have an America where we're not believing in this myth. Let's have an America where people do understand the history of America. President Trump is saying, I want to be on the side of the myth of America.
Yeah, I want to be on the side of the myth of America. And you gotta take note of that white resentment and the myth of America that you're promoting by doing a speech in front of Mount Rushmore. You stupid bigot. That's PBS for you. That's PBS. That's NPR. Donald J. Trump says, yeah, we're not going to send your taxpayer dollars there anymore. In a new executive order, NPR and PBS have fueled partnership in left-wing propaganda with taxpayer dollars, which is highly inappropriate and an improper use of taxpayers' money. Thank you to this administration for once again making comments.